Donald Trump lied again. This time, it was not a tweet or a threat, but a calculated leak. After a phone call with Mark Carney, the White House quietly pushed a story claiming that Carney had walked back his Davos speech. The message was clear. Trump applied pressure, and Carney folded. There was only one problem. It never happened.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is rejecting a U.S. official's account of Carney's phone call yesterday with U.S. President Donald Trump. In an interview with Fox News, the U.S. Treasury Secretary claimed Carney walked back parts of his speech in Davos, Switzerland. Well, this morning, Carney says that is not true. Here's more from the Prime Minister
Here's what unfolded. Following the call between Donald Trump and Mark Carney, U.S. officials told the media that Carney had softened his position, that he had taken back parts of what he said at Davos, and that Trump had reasserted control. This was not accidental. It is a classic Trump tactic. Apply pressure privately, leak a victory publicly, and force the other side to either accept the narrative or escalate. Most leaders stay quiet. Carney did not.
In Davos, it was clear it was a broader set of issues that Canada was the first country to understand the change in U.S. trade policy that he had initiated, and we're responding to that. We're responding positively by building partnerships abroad, we're responding positively by building at home, and we're prepared to respond positively by building that new relationship through CUSMA. He understood that, and it was a good conversation.
What happened next is where Donald Trump's entire strategy collapsed. Instead of staying silent and letting the White House version of events harden into fact, Mark Carney stepped out and corrected the record himself, calmly, deliberately, and on the record. Carney confirmed that the call with Donald Trump did happen. He confirmed that Trump initiated it. And then he did something Trump never expected. He refused to play along. Carney made it unmistakably clear that nothing from his Davos speech was walked back. No softening, no rewording, no retreat. And then came the sentence that destroyed the entire White House narrative in one stroke. He meant what he said in Davos. That line matters more than it sounds, because this wasn't just a denial. It was a rejection of Trump's authority to rewrite events. Trump's power relies on manufacturing wins after the fact. Private calls followed by public leaks. Pressure applied quietly, then victory claimed loudly. That's the pattern. Carney broke it. By stepping out immediately and stating his position without emotion, he denied Trump the thing he values most: control of the story. This wasn't defiance for show. This wasn't escalation. This was precision. Carney didn't insult Trump. He didn't accuse him of lying. He didn't even sound irritated. And that's exactly why it hits so hard. When a leader calmly contradicts the White House with confidence, it sends a message to the world. This pressure didn't work. This call didn't change anything. And this leader is not intimidated. Trump wanted the takeaway to be that Carney folded. Carney made the takeaway that Trump failed. And he did it without raising his voice, without theatrics, and without giving Trump a confrontation to feed off. That's not just a rebuttal, that's dominance.
Mark Carney here saying that when he put things in this light to Donald Trump, explained all the deals he's been doing around the world, including the one in China, that the response from Donald Trump, by his telling, was a good conversation. So fascinating to hear him de-escalate, but also at the same time double down and not back off what he said in Davos.
Trump's power depends on narrative dominance. He doesn't just want to pressure leaders, he wants to be seen as winning. That's why this leak existed. And Carney destroyed it in one sentence by calmly stating that nothing was walked back. Carney did something Trump hates more than confrontation. He corrected him publicly without emotion. That tells the world Trump did not extract concessions. Trump did not intimidate. Trump does not control the outcome. That is not just a contradiction, that is exposure. Carney didn't just reject the White House version of events, he explained the call itself, and in doing so exposed the real power dynamic. He made it clear this was not Trump disciplining Canada, it was Canada explaining reality. Carney told Trump why Canada is diversifying trade, why new partnerships are being built, and why this shift is structural, not reactive. And then came the most damaging detail. Carney said Trump understood that explanation. That single line collapses the narrative Trump wanted, because it shows this call did not change policy, did not soften language, and did not force a retreat. Carney didn't describe the call as productive or reassuring. He didn't say tensions were eased. He said his position was clear and unchanged. That matters because Trump's power depends on the belief that a phone call from the White House alters behavior. Carney made it clear it didn't. Trump wanted the call to look like leverage. Carney described it as information, and in power politics, that difference is decisive.
We discussed as well what Canada is doing positively, and this is the context of our discussion, what Canada is doing positively to build new partnerships around the world. I explained to him our arrangement with China. I explained to him what we're doing, 12 new deals on 4 continents in 6 months. He was impressed. And what we intend to do going forward, as well as the opportunity to, of course, move forward on CUSMA. You will note that Mr. LeBlanc had discussions with one of his counterparts in the last 36 hours about some of the modalities and things on the way forward.
When Carney said, "I meant what I said in Davos," it wasn't defiance, it was authority. He didn't raise his voice, he didn't attack Trump, he simply refused to rewrite history. That is lethal in diplomacy because it removes Trump's ability to spin, threaten, or posture. You cannot dominate someone who won't play along. This is the part people miss. When Trump fails to control the narrative, he escalates. That's when terrorists get bigger, insults get personal, threats get louder, because silence and calm tell him something terrifying. His pressure isn't working. Carney didn't flinch, didn't concede, didn't validate the lie, and that forces Trump to respond, not lead. This wasn't just a correction, it was a line in the sand. Carney showed that Canada will not accept false readouts, will not allow pressure to be reframed as submission, and will speak for itself. Immediately, that changes the dynamic. Trump no longer controls the story. Donald Trump wanted the world to believe Mark Carney backed down. Mark Carney walked out and said the opposite, calmly, clearly, on the record. In doing so, he reminded everyone watching that pressure only works when the other side accepts your version of events. Canada didn't, and that's why this moment matters. For clear, no-nonsense analysis of how power actually works, not how it's sold, subscribe to Canada Today, like the video, share it, and stay with us.